My personal depression is a lot of self-depreciation, self-loathing, a lot of self-confidence, self-worth issues, and it comes from the bullying and all the stuff that has gone on, over the course of my life.
I get depressed in the winter and fall. I can feel it coming on. I sleep a lot, and I get an attitude when I get woken up. I avoid people. I avoid contact to minimum. If I have to go to school, it's here's my paper, I'm done. I don't speak up in class like I normally do. I don't get feisty or ignited over a controversial subject like I normally do. I simmer and I chill out.
I'll wake up in just a funk, and it'll usually last 4 to 8 days, and it just, whenever it wants, it comes and goes. Sometimes I'm fine, sometimes I'm not.
My depression comes in waves, and some days are worse than others. But when I'm in a sort of down, it's difficult to want to get up out of bed, and it's difficult to want to do things for me, and you deal with a lot of like self-loathing, just self-deprecating sort of actions, and it's not fun. So it's just one of those things where it's really just pushing through and knowing that it doesn't last forever, and that it's just something that you deal with.
I first saw a therapist right after my mom died. I heard my aunt and my uncle talking, and they kept saying, "You're gonna need to see somebody." And I didn't understand. I thought they meant like them. I thought they meant like I was gonna have to go talk to my grandparents or, just spend more time. And I didn't understand like the effect. I didn't understand that losing my lifeline was going to be the end of me. I learned very fast that my attitude, my chemistry, my click with my father, with my sister, after losing my mom, was so much less than whatever I have with my mother. And I learned that that took a toll on me, that took a piece of who I was away, and I became somewhat less.
You're just away from everything you know, everybody you know. You're just in a new place on your own. When I moved to Indy, I didn't really have anybody, nobody that I know besides my cousin, which I'm not close to. She lives here, but I came on my own, didn't know anyone, no friends, so I just felt like all alone and like I had nobody. There are days where I'm like, yeah, cool, I can overcome this, it'll go away someday. But then other days I'm like, this is never gonna stop, it's always gonna be around. And usually on my downswings, I don't wanna do anything. It takes me forever to get out of bed. When I get back from classes, I wanna just lay in bed and eat snacks and drink soda or sweet tea or just like something sweet and just lay in bed in the dark and watch whatever's on TV. Just from like what people have said to me in the past, like my siblings have said some pretty cruel things to me, which like I have a problem with overthinking, so it just like keeps going in my brain, and things that my parents have said to me and just people in general. And then a big part was moving to Indy when I'm away from everybody, and like I didn't know anybody still, so it just really struck hard when I knew I was alone.
I don't just need someone to talk to. I need someone to provide me answers and personal help. And it's a bit daunting to want to go seek help with like a school, or even, with free clinics and stuff with students who are learning to do that. You don't really know if you're gonna get the same person that you can talk to each time, and then they know what happened the session before, and you don't have to repeat yourself and things like that. Depression is a very personal thing. Everybody who has depression has it for a different reason. And almost always it's something personal, whether it be genetic, whether it be a traumatic situation that occurred. So yeah, I mean, it is absolutely 100% horrifying to talk to someone about your personal case of depression and everything that goes along with it.
An eating disorder was pretty prominent in my life my junior and senior year. It was to relieve stress. And I would binge eat and then purge. And that continued probably for 6 months. I also relate my depression to self-harm. When you're in a state that there's a cloud in your head and that there's one way to feel something, and that's to hurt yourself. I understand.
I definitely feel like I struggle with anxiety. I haven't been officially diagnosed because, again, people are like, you don't have it, but I have anxiety attacks quite often, especially if I'm thrown into a situation out of the blue and I just need to take care of a situation. Like, my chest gets really tight and I hyperventilate, and the room gets really dark and like it starts to spin. And I get really super hot, so I need to like go outside or be somewhere where it's cool when it happens. I'm not super anxious when I'm in my little mood, like my depressed swings. My depressed swings kind of like take it over. But then once that goes away, the anxiety comes back.
I can overcome anything. I feel like a superwoman. I feel like I have learned who I am, so I know depression is something I will always deal with, and I can overcome when it strikes or it's storming. I know how it feels, and when you know how it feels, you know how to attack it, and when you know how to attack it, you can take care of it, and by taking care of it, you're taking care of yourself. So it's a pattern of things, and you just have to take each step each day and accomplish one thing at a time.
I can't speak for everybody, but my personal situation, I have managed to hit a sort of breakthrough. I don't entirely know what caused it, but I do know that I don't feel it's not as scary to me. It was at one point in my life incredibly life-threatening. And now I'm happier, generally. I can deal with it more logically and kind of, notice when things are happening, and I feel like I have a little bit more control than I ever did before. So, I don't really know what caused it, but in my current situation, I'm better, but not where I want to be. So I know that if I had gotten help prior, I don't think this would be a problem for me now. I truly believe that if it was more affordable and it was something that I could seek help actively with, I wouldn't be dealing with this problem now.
If my depression gets worse, then I'll definitely go seek help. They definitely are people who would like to hear about what's bothering you and like what just is going on in your life, and they want to help. Don't give up. You will overcome it at some point. It's not like, even though you feel it might always be around, it probably won't. But like, if you really need to seek help because of suicidal thoughts, then definitely go get help.
It may be scary to talk to someone, a stranger, about whatever could be causing your depression, but it's worth it. If you're ever in a situation where, you start to doubt yourself, everything, whether you should be here or not, God forbid, you need to talk to someone. And you may want to be strong enough to handle it on your own. And you may want to try and just power through it, but sometimes you can't. I've been at that point where you can't. And if you have the ability to seek help and you can speak to someone that has talked to people before you and will continue to talk to people after you're done talking to them, they have experience. They know what this is, and they know how to deal with it, and they know how to help you.
Depression is something that will always be there, but I can overcome self-harm. I can overcome my eating disorder. I can overcome all of these, and depression is something I have to live with, that I have to understand that's a part of me, and that my, hopefully one day my future husband will understand and accept about me, that they will learn that I struggled to love me first. And that's okay.